Let's run the fucking ball. Why didn't you just take a fucking knee?
This ends up on Pornhub. Sorry for your weird masturbation session.
What's going on, everybody? Fuck the gout. That's all I gotta fucking say. Shit fucking sucks. How's everybody doing tonight? Gonna talk some football. I wonder, hopefully everybody can hear me, because I fixed the issue that I was having. I hope I fixed it. If everybody can hear me, please let me know. I understand that, but it's much better. It's much better. It's just not echoing back at me. Okay, you can hear me. That's great. All right, so we got some stuff to talk about. We're going to actually talk about the playoff picture. It's about that time. It's about that time to start talking about the playoff picture. We're going to talk about something that happened today that was kind of important, and it needed to happen. But again, I am one of those, you don't do it during the season. You wait until the end of the season, because the guy that they're bringing in is no better. The AFL stops operations. What is that, Coop? I'm sorry.
The Arena Football League.
The Arena Football League. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about. I'm good. I have a thought, and I don't know if I've said this on the shows or not. I have a thought on how to stop teams from tanking. Not doing a lottery, but you just have to hear me out. We'll go through the rankings. We'll talk about the college football playoffs. We'll talk about the games that are happening, the Big Five, the conference championships. Bobbit, if you could pull those up, I'd greatly appreciate it. We'll talk about those. I will pick those games as a little special for you guys. Well, you guys can join in, but
Alrighty.
We'll pick those games. We'll go through the picks for the week. We'll go through the top 32 rankings, and we'll talk about anything that pops up. So let's start off with the top news story of the day. The Panthers fired Ron Rivera today. Now, I think it should have happened last year, but I can understand why they held on to him. He is a good coach. I think he's a better defensive coordinator than he is a head coach. I think he's lost his team. And it's the same thing with Mike McCarthy. He had lost the team, and it was just he lost the locker room. So it was time for him to go. But I would not have fired him in the middle of the year. It makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Because now they have to pay his contract out. If they would have waited, they wouldn't have had to pay out the rest of his contract. Now, that being said, it was time for him to go. And I can agree with that. I can agree with Mike McCarthy. Just at the end of the year, it makes more sense, and it's fiscally responsible. You're not gaining anything, and you're not losing anything by him not being there. I mean, how has their attendance been? I mean, their attendance hasn't dropped because Ron Rivera is the head coach, right? No, their attendance is dropping because the players suck. You lose a locker room, and that happens. I know Bobbitt this is probably his favorite team, so I'd like to get his thoughts. I know he said he wanted to talk about it, so go ahead, Bobbitt.
The first thing I want to say is thanks to Ron Rivera for the good season that we did have, especially the 2015 season when we went 15-1. Unfortunately, we lost the Super Bowl
40-8.
And I seen how good my quarterback was.
40-8.
Shut up in there.
40-8.
But it was time for him to go. As soon as Cam got hurt, that's when I figured that's when our troubles was going to start, and it was just time, really. Right. I hope whoever we get next will actually make us a playoff contender team again. Shut up! asshole.
He's not talking about me because I didn't say anything. So anyway, you asked me a question, and you asked the question 43 to 8. I'm sorry. So let's add 3 to that. Let's just dig the fucking dagger a little deeper. Um. I don't care. Either way, they're lost. They got their ass kicked. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, so Mike McCarthy, you asked me that question. Do I think he would be a good coach for them? No. Not with Cam Newton there. Because, well, then again, he is an offensive mind. Ron Rivera is a defensive mind. I really think they need to get rid of North Turner because he's trying to change how Cam Newton plays. And it's like Lamar Jackson. You can't change how Lamar Jackson plays or you're going to ruin him. That's why John Harbaugh has been successful with him. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show when we do our takeaway. That's what I forgot, the takeaways from this past weekend. He might, if he can get the right offensive coordinator in there, yeah. But he has to get the right offensive coordinator in there. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about it. You asked the question, I'm answering it here.
It's just, I want to ask this too. Who do y'all think would be a good head coach for Carolina moving forward?
That'd be I don't know. It's strong. Like offense right now is what they're better with Christian McCaffrey, right? So I don't know. Maybe they should go with an offensive coordinator or offensive mind, right?
I do, but what kind of offensive mind? One like
Ground and pound football. You start with.
I think Matt LaFleur, if he would have been, if Ron Rivera would have been better, he would have been for. He Green Bay bases their offense off of the run. If you watch them, everything goes off the field. Can you imagine Cam Newton, who can still run, he can still do all the things that a quarterback can do with that kind of offense that Green Bay? I think they would be pretty good. I think, and that was great. Oh, Wendy just stepped on my fucking toe.
Ooh.
Always go back to Rex Ryan if you want.
Did it again.
Actually, his brother Rob is maybe looking for head coaching.
And there's Wendy. She's wanting to say hi to everybody.
Hi, Wendy. Yeah, I'm just surprised that they actually just fired Ron Rivera and still with a 5-7 record right now. But from what they see, the Saints are going to win that division anyway. So
They will. Yeah, there's nobody going to beat.
Maybe that's probably why they pulled the trigger, is because they know the Saints won the division, so there's no hope.
Yeah. Well, they have a shot to make the playoffs, and teams tanking. We'll get into that too.
Well, there was first of all, there's no reason for them to even be behind against the Redskins in the first place.
Who's
that? That was the Panthers against the Redskins.
That's another thing to talk about with that fucking game.
Go ahead, Bobby. We can do the takeaways. Go ahead.
That fucking game, pissed me off.
But okay, so
first of all,
I didn't see the game. So my question to you is, talk about the game, and then I'll tell you why. Because I think I can get a good gauge on if you tell me exactly what happened.
Okay. Basically, from the parts I've seen from going in and cautiousness, because sick of the dog Sunday and Saturday. Our fucking team just gave up. Like, our defense was playing like shit.
Well, do you think their defense is really that good? Yeah.
Fucking Adrian Peterson was burning our secondary like it was like particle board.
Well, Adrian Peterson's still
Shut up, Dad.
Adrian Peterson's still a serviceable running back, though. So I can understand. He torched Green Bay last year. He's torched teams before. It's not like this is the first time Adrian Peterson's torched teams. So I can understand your frustration, but Adrian Peterson is still a serviceable running back. He wouldn't be in the NFL if he wasn't. He's starting, right? He started for the Washington Redskins, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Not only that, but Kyle Allen just played like absolute garbage.
Well, how many years has Kyle Allen been playing football in the NFL?
I think this is his first year.
Here's your answer. You can't just throw. Look, I get it. Cam Newton got hurt, and here's another thing. It's you know who else should be fired? Is the general manager. Get a backup quarterback that is serviceable. Don't rely on a rookie to do the job. Sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Now, do you have those certain quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, and he probably could have started his first year. Alex Smith, he kind of had to start because they didn't have anything else. You know, quarterbacks like that, and no, not Baker Mayfield because he's not that fucking good.
Mark Sanchez.
Mark Sanchez, well, he got thrown into the fray too, and I think that hurt him.
Yeah.
So.
But if you didn't see the last play, Kyle Allen, he ran back too much, and he got sacked by the Redskins. He holded on to the ball too long there.
That's true, and again, that's a rookie mistake. He doesn't want to throw an interception, which tells me that Carolina did not want him to make mistakes. That's a coaching decision. Don't throw interceptions. That's probably what they told him. So he took sacks, which makes no sense. That's almost as bad as throwing an interception, depending on the situation.
Speaking of which, did you guys read that stats about the Tampa Bay offense with Winston?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just surprised that they have he's got over 19 interceptions this season, but he's had 6 games with over 300 passing yards so far. I think 7 now. So it's they won too again. So he's putting up points, but he's just throwing a lot of interceptions. That's all.
Right. So my takeaways. It's the NFL. This goes to prove that the Dolphins are not tanking.
No, they put up a fight against Philly.
They beat Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They are not tanking. Everybody that thinks that they're just because the front office trades everybody away, what I seen or what I gathered from watching highlights and what Heather was telling me while I was watching the Packer game is that the players that are on that field playing with heart. I want them kind of players on my team. They can build around that team if they get the right veterans and the right rookies in there. Get rid of the fucking front office. Whoever is running that team should be fucking fired at the end of the year because he's tanking and that team is playing their ass off. And for all the motherfuckers that wanted to fucking leave, like Brian McCain and whoever else, that Minka Fitzpatrick, be gone. Be gone. They're much better off without you. Much better off without you. Don't need fucking garbage shit on my team with that. I would have gotten rid of them a long time ago. It's called character. And what I'm seeing from that team is character. They aren't quitting. So, another takeaway. Again, Green Bay's defense is fucking smoke and mirrors. San Francisco, I want to talk about that. I think they're smoke and mirrors. They have a good defense, but their offense is spotty at best. You put them up against the defense that's equally as good, they aren't winning. San Francisco is not beating a team with a good defense. Period. Bottom line. You can argue that with me all day, but who have they beaten? Who have they beaten? No, San Francisco. Name one good team that they've beaten. Green Bay, they're smoke and mirrors. No. That's all I'm saying. That's why I don't think that they're one of the better teams. You get San Francisco on somebody else's home field, they aren't winning. They are not winning. Could you imagine that team? And I heard this. Well, they have players that played in this weather before. But guess what? They're playing in San Francisco now. They're used to this kind of weather. This team is built for warm weather. This team is not built for playoff games in fucking Lambeau Field in fucking January. They're not. Yep. They're not. They rely on their speed getting to the quarterback. Bosa, I can, but about all them other guys, I don't know. Buckner got hurt. I don't know how hurt he got. But I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if you see the San Francisco's got another tough game this week. They play the Saints. They're going up against a really good offense and a decent defense. Now, that being said, I want to talk about the Saints. They are smoke and mirrors. I don't think there's really any one true team out there that is dominant. You have Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson looked mediocre at best. Running the ball, he didn't. But throwing the ball, he looked mediocre. I don't even think he had 100 yards passing Sunday. What does that tell you? San Francisco figured out how to defend him. If he's sitting in the pocket, he's not gonna get the job done for you. He's got to be running. He's got to be on the move in order for him to be successful.
Yep.
That's why they've won 10 games. They got away with the win this week. So
yeah,
a game they should have won handily, in my opinion. But, and I'm sorry, the Saints, they're smoke and mirrors, man. The NFC is a toss-up. Because if you get San Francisco and Green Bay, San Francisco will lose. You get New Orleans and Green Bay, you get Green Bay and New Orleans, they're going to lose. It's a home field advantage is big right now in the NFC. Whoever has home field advantage is going to the Super Bowl.
The only other team is Seattle.
Exactly. That being said, probably the only other team that could play and beat teams on the road is Seattle, because they've done it. I think they beat San Francisco on the road.
They went 6-0 so far on the road so far.
So there you go. That's about the only team. That being said, I don't know if they can do it. I don't know if Seattle can win on the road in a key situation. We'll see. The AFC, Baltimore's just hands and above better than everybody else. They're just the most complete team in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
This week, they kind of got a wake-up call with their offense. They need to figure out how to create plays for Lamar Jackson in games like that, or they're not winning the Super Bowl. They will lose to New England in a rematch. So, yeah, you have the number 1 seed, but do not be surprised. Bill Belichick is the smartest coach in the NFL. He will watch tape on that San Francisco game, and he will use what San Francisco did.
Mm-hmm.
And he will beat Baltimore. So they need to be careful. they better get more creative when they're going up against defenses like this, because they will not. They got to get that offensive line going, and they got to get the running backs going, or they will not. They won't make it to the Super Bowl. It'll be New England again. Because I don't think there's anybody in the AFC. And Houston, no, because Houston's going to end up going on the road. They would have to come to either Baltimore or New England. And nobody is beating New England in January. Every year, we say the same thing. Well, they got beat by this team. They should win this game, play them in the playoffs, and they just look much better than everybody else. And that's just the way it has been. So
yeah, in that game, I really think it was the offense that really lost that game rather than Houston winning.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, no, I agree.
I think that's the one thing. If New England, if Edelman doesn't stay healthy, if the players don't stay healthy for New England, then there might be an opportunity.
That's why this loss, I think, is skewed a lot more because they had 17 players that were sick. They had the flu.
Yeah.
So I would take Houston beating New England with a grain of salt, a big grain of salt, because didn't New England come back in that game and almost win?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Proves my point.
28-22
is final. So think about that for a second. But
that is how you can beat New England, is if you can score more points against them at the beginning, then New England has to come back.
But that's the hard part. They have the best defense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that is the thing. So
you have to score more points than they do, but you have to score points
before
you can say, well, we got to score more than they do. Well, yeah, you got to be able to score points before you can say that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's talk about the Miami debacle. I've talked about this, and I don't know if I've said this on the show. And I want to get everybody's thoughts. I know we've talked about it. The Super Bowl winner, in my opinion, you want to put a kibosh on this fucking tanking bullshit? The winner of the Super Bowl gets the number one pick in the draft. They get the last pick or whatever pick that they get in all the rest of the rounds. But in the first round, to stop teams from tanking, which we've seen the NBA do it, we've seen Major League Baseball do it, sometimes not willingly tanking. They just tank because New York and fucking Boston and fucking Los Angeles Dodgers buy everything. But it's just a thought that I had. Whoever wins the Super Bowl, yeah, they get a trophy. They get a big shiny trophy. But you're punishing them for winning the Super Bowl. I think they should get the first pick in the draft instead of the last pick. You give the team that tanked or the team that finished in last, then you can have a pool. All the other 31 teams are in like a little lottery thing. Even the number one and number two teams, they get the two teams that make it Super Bowl. They get the number one and number two pick. And then everybody else, they get thrown into a hat or whatever, and they draw out a hat. Okay, Buffalo, you get the third pick.
Well, in NHL, they actually do the bottom five, and they do a little draft of picking the bottom five of who gets it, right? Or whoever doesn't make the playoffs, they do a pick of all the teams that didn't make the playoffs.
So how that you're talking about the bottom five?
Yeah, I think in hockey, it's like I think the bottom five have a better chance of getting the first overall pick.
So I think basketball does a lottery. So how many other games you win, you get a percentage, you get a ball. So you get, whatever. Out of 82 balls, I think it is, and, it is what it is. So it's... I personally don't like it. I think that the team that wins should get the first pick. It just seems like the way to fucking stop teams from tanking. It is.
We'll
And
see.
that, go ahead.
I have an interesting thing to say. Why not invert it for the first round?
Okay, I could go with that.
That would shake things up.
And then all the rest of the rounds they can fucking pick in the order that they finished.
Exactly.
I'm fine with that.
Like, invert the first round and, have like the Super Bowl winner pick first and go from there and have like the worst team choose last.
Now, it's never going to happen, but it would stop and people sitting there on Twitter saying, why is Miami winning games? Because the team is trying. The players are trying. Do you think the players want to fucking tank? Do you think they want to have the first pick in the draft? Whoever fucking says that,
No.
you don't know fucking, you have no clue how to run a fucking team. I have no clue how to run a fucking team, but I know that way is not the right way. In fact, that's the coward's way out. Because you look at Cleveland. How many times have they had the number one pick? How many times has it fucking panned out for them? Just saying.
Yeah.
Look at where they're at today. Still aren't going to make the fucking playoffs. You look at Cincinnati. They're always in the top 5 usually. Look at them. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't fucking doing shit. In fact, they might even have the number one pick in the draft. Miami right now is looking at number 8 or number 7 pick in the draft. Which
better than the Jets.
They are one better.
Yeah.
So so people have got to think about kind of have a lottery, but Bob brings up a valid point. I would invert it. And then rounds 2 through 7, whatever picks they have left, have at it. Enough with the hearing of these. Do you want to stop it? If I was the NFL and I find out that that's what Miami did, they're going to say, well, that's not what we're doing. We're just building to the future. It's fiscally not smart by a team to just dump the rest of their roster. It gives those fans a reason not to want to fucking support you. Because every time something goes fucking wrong, you're going to... And it's the same thing with Miami teams all the fucking time. Look at the Marlins. They won a fucking World Series. The very next year, they dumped everybody because they couldn't afford to fucking pay. What is that? Why do you own a team if you're just going to dump everybody the following year? Makes no sense.
No.
Makes no sense. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know what anybody else thinks about it. Bobby gave me his thoughts. What do you think, Coop? Do you think
about team? Well, first of all, I don't think any team should tank if there's only 16 games in a season. Compared to like baseball, hockey, all of them have like 70, 80 games. I think that's why NFL is so special, is because there's very limited amount of games that you can play. And I think still, if you have a losing record of like 6 games, you still have an opportunity to still play hard. So.
And the thing is it's a front office thing. It's a front office thing.
Right.
And they're not punishing the players. They're punishing the organization as a whole. So I would investigate them and say, hey, why are you guys getting rid of all your players, all your good players?
So you think that should be a crime in there, or it should be fined or something like that?
They should be punished. Like I said, they should. The way to mitigate that is either invert the first round, because look, how often do first round picks pan out?
Pick and rebuilds for everything.
Usually rounds 2 through 4 are your best rounds. So why people are worried about what pick they get in the first round doesn't make 2 shits to me. Because pick 17 through 32 is a crapshoot, to be honest with you. 1 through 16 is even a fucking crapshoot. when you're drafting players, you're not drafting players because they're good. You're drafting players because they have potential. That's why the NBA does the draft right. They draft for potential. Sometimes they don't pan out. It's just the way it is. But baseball, it's the same thing. They draft on potential. They don't draft on who can play now. They draft on potential. It's just the way they do things. And I love how baseball does it. Draft on potential. And that's why you see a lot of high school kids going out and playing baseball and going in the first round in baseball because they have potential to be this superstar, like a Bryce Harper, or Mike Trout.
Strasburg.
Well, Strasburg played at San Diego State.
Oh, okay.
He didn't even need to go. He was ready to come up to the major leagues right away. He's in him and Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Mike Trout. They're all anomalies. They're just ready. That's where they're just physically ready to play baseball at the level that they were. But I know football's a different story. Stop with the Baby Yoda thing. Good God, that thing's driving me fucking. Look. It's making me want to not watch The Mandalorian where people fucking. I'm serious. Have you guys seen that yet?
Oh yeah, I've actually I've seen The Mandalorian now.
So the thing's gonna die soon. No, it really is. It's gonna die. It's gonna die. Why? Because it's supposed to. If anybody that knows Dave Filoni, he giveth and then take away. He does it all the time. He did it in Clone Wars. He did it in Star Wars Rebels. Like we want Ahsoka. We want Ahsoka. She came back. He took her away like 5 episodes later.
Wow. Same with Darth Maul.
Yes, it's exactly the same thing. Kind of, but he's not so cute.
Oh, look, what all those spikes? Come on.
Oh,
my thing is
but
Star Wars isn't about.
Is my favorite Sith.
I know I went off on a tangent here, but Star Wars isn't about cutesy. The main character, he kills people for a living. He does. He's a fucking bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And an awesome one at that.
He's a very awesome one. So they're already kind of ruined the Mandalorian for me because he's getting a soft heart. No, I want the fucking Mandalorian to fucking destroy. I wanted to rip Baby Yoda's head off and just fucking drink his blood. That's what I wanted him to fucking do.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I just had to say it.
That's
Okay with the metal.
Sorry, this galaxy kicking my ass. So let's get back on track. The Arena Football League, Coop, you put this out there. You go ahead.
I just wanted to make a quick note that Arena Football League is folded with bankruptcy, right? So now it's like, what does America have for backup football leagues?
They don't.
So I guess they're going to come to Canada now and take our jobs. I don't know.
What I'd like to know is
Most of the
who even
all right,
watched it?
Coop, I'm going to stop you right there. Most of the players that you have in that league do come from here.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with that. We're not.
They
are you going to try the took our jobs thing or what?
I'm just taking a little joke.
Smoking a little bit of the Chiba.
I know that's the coffee. Maybe I'll smoke a little bit now.
Like, who watched Arena Football?
I did. I actually did enjoy it. It's actually a very fun sport. I watched it when it first came out because Milwaukee actually had a team. Milwaukee Mustangs. Then they disbanded them. The XFL will not be associated. In fact, we want to talk about that. The NFL tried getting, I can't remember who it was, from the XFL, and he was a quarterback in the NFL not that long ago, but the XFL, Vince McMahon put a block to it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Landon
so the
Jones or
XFL
something?
will not be working with the NFL at all.
Huh. Competition.
Yep. They're really going for the gusto. They're going to give you a legit sport. It's going to be just like regular football. They're going to have pretty much all the same rules. Yeah.
And it starts after the Super Bowl. I'm not sure. I've got to look that. But
It
nice.
starts in 2020. That's all 2020, right?
Yes.
Well, they said.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, I was gonna say they said it would start after the Super Bowl.
The alternate. No, we're talking about not that kind of alternate. Correct. An alternate would be the XFL. What other football sport happens in the summer? Because that's when the XFL is going to be, I think. Either that or the spring.
They got flag football.
I mean, you could fucking play Madden.
Madden.
But
I just wanted to quickly mention that Arena Football League. Some players came from it. Kurt Warner is one of those famous players that came from it.
Warner came from there. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Jay Gruden, head coach from the Washington Redskins, came from there. So, yeah. But it's sad to see it go because it was kind of fun to watch. Their defense was very rarely a thing in an Arena Football League, but whatever. It's fine.
February 8th, 2020, Lonnie says.
Okay, well, whatever.
Nice. Well.
February 8th, 2020 is the first game.
All right.
So it's like right after the Super Bowl. What do you guys want to talk about? The playoff picture, or do you want to do the top 32?
I just want to mention just like quickly a couple of games that like the Dallas Cowboys lost to the Bills, and that's you said like smoke and mirrors. There's another team.
Yep, and Buffalo is smoke and mirrors that everybody thinks they're a joke. They are no fucking joke.
No, Buffalo's legit.
Buffalo is legit. I think that they could be one of those teams. They could give Baltimore some trouble.
Yes.
They could. And it's in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So it could be one of those games where Baltimore takes a loss. It's going to be cold. It's going to be... It's Buffalo. The weather there is not conducive to...
There's one team that the New England Patriots would have trouble with is Buffalo because they can match the weather that they're in.
They have to create stuff. You cannot keep him in the pocket. He needs to be outside of the pocket, running the ball or throwing it. And everybody on Twitter saying, well, that's what you get when you run the ball. You're going to fumble it. That's like the dumbest fucking statement I've ever heard. Like, everybody fumbles the ball. Everybody, it's like the more that they throw the ball, they're bound to throw an interception. Well, it's common sense. It's bound to happen. It's how players respond to it. And I'll give Lamar Jackson credit. He responded well enough to get the job done.
And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is what's happened to the Chargers. I don't know why, but they're saying that Phil Rivers might be benched.
You bench him, then the season is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
DJ Scaping is really pissed off about the Chargers this year. He won't even talk about them anymore.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck about DJ Scaping. Say something, motherfucker. I see you. I see you over there. Wait.
I'm not going to say anything.
Well, anyways, that's all I just wanted to mention about those two games that we didn't get to. So,
No, that's fine. Bobbit, do you have any besides Carolina?
No, I'm just curious to see how Carolina is in the rankings now.
You will see. And Ryan, do not be surprised if the Patriots lose to the Bills. I am telling you, they damn near beat them last time. So they only lost 16-10, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots do not have the offense that they once had. For some reason, they are not as good as they once were. Just goes to show that 42-year-old quarterback isn't the answer.
There's one thing I do want to bring up. Coop, the fuck happened to the Jets?
well, we didn't score any points on offense. We got 2 field goal kicks. So I have no idea what happened to the offense.
Did you give the team your weed again?
maybe they did. I don't know, but it's just as a Jets fan, they're the new Titans. I just don't know what the hell they are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say this: whoever said that the greatest quarterback to never win a Super Bowl is Philip Rivers is smoking tons of dope, because that is completely the wrong answer. It is Dan Marino. Philip Rivers has never been to a Super Bowl. Well, now that I now I reread it as greatest player to never have played in a Super Bowl. That I can get behind.
Yeah.
Name me another player that never played in a Super Bowl but was a really good quarterback. Can't do it.
Oh, you said quarterback. I was going to say Barry Sanders.
He's probably the greatest. He's probably the greatest player to never play in the Super Bowl. I'll give you that. But yeah, so we're gonna do the playoff picture first. So you got almost every team in punt here.
That's how NFL is.
Okay, so here's the top 6 in the AFC right now. At number 6, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh might make the playoffs with all their troubles this year. They might make the playoffs. Number 5, Buffalo. Are they really the number 5 team? I would put them right up there with at number 3, to be honest with you. Number 4, the Chiefs. Number 3, the Texans. And the only reason that Buffalo's at number 5 is because they're the first team that did not win their division. Number 2 is the Patriots, and the Ravens have the number 1 seed as of right now. They hold the tiebreaker over everybody right now, if I remember correctly. What did they lose to the Chiefs?
They lost to the Chiefs.
Okay, but the Chiefs aren't there.
No.
In the hunt are the Titans, the Raiders, the Colts. How the Colts are still in it. The Browns, the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Jets are all still have a shot at the playoffs.
Even talking about Nick Foles getting benched now.
Well, that's because he's probably not recovered. They probably brought him back too early.
So it's I'm actually surprised that the Titans are not in the. Well, they're in the mix, but like I think the Titans are better than the Steelers right now.
Yeah.
How the hell does the Jets still have a chance in the playoffs?
That's what they have.
They have the same record as the Chargers and the Broncos and the Jaguars.
There you go. In the NFC, number 6, Minnesota. Number 5, San Francisco. They fell hard. Number 4, Dallas. By default, by the way.
Yeah.
Number three is Green Bay. Number 2 is Seattle. And number 1 is New Orleans. As of right now. Because I'm going to say it right now. The Saints better not play like they have been, or they will lose to San Francisco. And I don't know where that game is. It's in New Orleans. So, yeah.
They're actually going against the 49ers, I think, at their next game.
San Francisco is at New Orleans. So the teams in the hunt are the Rams, the Bears, the Buccaneers, the Eagles, the Panthers, and the Redskins are in the hunt.
See, the Eagles really should have won that game against the Dolphins, or else if they would have won, they would be right now over the Cowboys, I think.
Right.
But that really, really hurt them.
Yep.
So.
All right. So we'll get to so that's your playoff picture right now, and that could very easily change this next week.
It very well could, yeah.
If San Francisco wins, they will still be they'll still be number 5, and the Saints will drop to number 6. I do believe, yeah, they're gonna have to, because the Cowboys, the Packers, the Seahawks would be your top 3 teams. Saints would be number 4. Excuse me, because yeah. So that wouldn't change no matter what, except for the Saints would drop out to number 4. That being said, let's get into the rankings. Number 32. Who do you think is number 32?
Jets.
Nope.
Is it still no, it can't be the Bengals still, can't it?
Number 32 is the Bengals.
Still, really?
Well, they've only had 1 win.
Yeah.
Number 31.
Redskins. No?
The New York Giants.
Oh, the Giants.
Number 30. I looked at this and laughed. They're in the NFC South. Or North. They're in the NFC North.
The Lions?
Yep. Number 30. They dropped 2. The Cardinals dropped 3 to 29. The Redskins went up 1 to 28. The Jets dropped 5. That's not even. I don't even think that's the hardest fall of any team in the NFL this week. I could have sworn I looked at it today. Nope, it is. The Jets are the farthest falling team in the NFL. The Dolphins jumped 4 spots to number 25 or 26. The Falcons dropped 1 to 25. The Jaguars dropped 1 to 24. Broncos went up 2 to 23, which they had a big win. That was a good win. Buccaneers went up 5 to 22. The Eagles dropped 1 to 21. The Panthers dropped 2 to 20. The Chargers stayed steady at 19. The Browns dropped 1 to 18. The Bears went up 4 to 17. The Colts stayed even at 16. The Raiders dropped 2 to 15. Cowboys dropped 3 to 14. The Rams went up 2 to number 13. Steelers went up 2 to number 12. The Titans went up 1 to number 11. The Bills stayed solid at 10. The Vikings dropped 3 to 9.
Ooh.
The Chiefs stayed solid at 8. The Texans went up 2 to number 7. Number 6, Green Bay, went up 1. Your top 5. Who do you think is in the top? Who do you think number 5 is?
Vikings? No.
Nope, they're number 9.
Oh, okay. Packers?
They're number 6.
6. 49ers.
Oh,
Nope.
the Patriots dropped 2 spots to number 5.
Wow.
The Saints
Wow.
went up 1 to number 4. 49ers, and I call bullshit on this, dropped only 2 to number 3. I would drop.
What about the 49ers or the Patriots?
I would have put Patriots at number 4, the Saints at number 3, the Patriots or the 49ers at number 5. Them
Yeah.
losing that game hurt San Francisco, in my opinion. It exploited San Francisco for what it really is. In fact, the last loss that they had exploited them for what they really are. So the 49ers are number 3. The Seahawks are number 2. They went up 2. The Ravens are your new number 1 team in the NFL. Deservedly so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. So that's the end of that. Now to the college side of things. We're to the championship week where all the conference championships are taking place. Bob, do you have what do you want to do first? You want to do the rankings or do you want to do the championship games first?
We could do the rankings if
No, let's do the
we could do rankings.
let's do the championship games first, and because I'm gonna explain, there's some what ifs in there.
Okay.
So do the top 10, the college football playoff.
Well, the games or the ranking?
Oh no, do the conference games. Do the ACC first, or whatever you have first.
Okay.
Whatever you have first, sir. It's fine.
Okay. First is Utah versus Oregon.
That is number 14 versus number 6, correct? Or number 5 should be. Right?
13 and 5.
13. Okay. Oregon's ranked number 13. Utah is number 5. Oregon took a loss, a tough loss, 2 weeks ago or last week. They won this week, I think. They beat Oregon State, I think. I'm gonna go with Utah to win. Not handily. It's gonna be close.
Too.
It's gonna be close, and I think Utah is gonna win by 6. I think it's gonna be like 40 to fucking 34 or something like that. They don't know how to play defense in fucking Pac-12, just like the Big 12.
Yeah. Next up, number 6 Oklahoma against number 8 Baylor.
Another conference that doesn't know how to play defense. I'm going with Oklahoma again. These two teams played 3 weeks ago. The game we watched, Baylor actually had like a 20-point lead and blew it. Ended up losing to Oklahoma. I'm going with Oklahoma, and I don't even think it's going to be close this time. I think Oklahoma is going to win by 20.
I'm going.
You're going to go what?
I'm going Baylor.
Nah, it's in Oklahoma. They ain't beating Oklahoma in Oklahoma. Each his own.
Next up, we have number 4 Georgia against number 1 LSU.
Okay, I've been wanting to talk about this.
I think LSU is barely going to have that.
I agree. I'm going to pick LSU barely. I'm going to say this right now. LSU, and I said it 2 weeks ago, LSU better show up and play defense. If they lose, they had better hope that Utah and Oklahoma both lose. They're not going to the playoffs. And that would be a damn shame because they have been one of the best teams in the country all year. Their defense has looked good the last couple of weeks, but they have not played the caliber of a Georgia. Georgia is for real. Yes, they lost to who did they? South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't lose by a lot. Plus, they had players out. Everybody on that team is healthy, and they are hungry. They are hungry. Georgia, I am almost going to pick Georgia just because that game, if you've watched Georgia over the last couple of weeks like I have, they look like a completely different team, and they play defense. They are not giving anything up to anybody. They destroyed Florida. LSU had troubles with Florida because LSU forgot how to play defense. I'm going to come back to that game because I might change my mind. Bobbit, what about you?
I'm going Georgia. I think Georgia's going to win this game. I really do.
Okay.
But it's going to be a damn good game, though.
I think I'm still going to go with LSU just because LSU can outscore teams. But I'm telling you, Ryan, Aaron, don't think it's in the bag. Because if Georgia shows up, it's going to be a long, long, long day for LSU. That's all I'm going to say. I'm pulling for LSU, but it is going to be a long, long day if Georgia decides to show up. Next.
All right. We have Virginia at Clemson.
Do we even have to talk about this one?
No.
No, but in all reality, it's Clemson. Clemson's better. Clemson's better. They should win. They should win by a lot. The naysayers with Clemson hasn't had a close game except for North Carolina. And if Clemson was to play North Carolina now, I guarantee it Clemson would destroy them. Big time. I don't think
Yeah.
it'd be close. And we wouldn't be having this discussion of who's number one. It'd be Clemson. That's the only reason Clemson's not getting any love is because they had a close game with North Carolina. I'm gonna go with it's Clemson.
All right. The last one, Ohio State versus Wisconsin.
Okay, I've been waiting to talk about this one. I'm still picking Ohio State. However, and it's a long shot. I've been saying this in the chat all week. I've been talking about this with family all week. I've been talking about this with people that I work with all week. It is tough to beat a team twice. It's even tougher to beat a team 3 times. This is only twice, though. Wisconsin played well for 3 quarters against Ohio State. But they did not have the players that they have back now. Wisconsin has played like they have played at the beginning of the year. I know, right? They have played like they played at the beginning of the year when they had those 4 shutouts. Wisconsin, if they can play like they played on Saturday, all except for that very first play, if you watch the game, you'll know what I'm talking about. Wisconsin has a chance if they can get the run game going and their pass game going, which they had going this past weekend. They made Minnesota look like not even a top 25 team fucking Saturday. Ohio State, granted, they made Michigan look like not a top 25 team. Wisconsin made Michigan not look like not a top 25 team. Ohio State has not played anybody yet that is, and they have beat Wisconsin. I will give them that. They have beaten Wisconsin, but they played undermanned because they had their 2 safeties were out. Yeah, whatever. So we'll see. But I'm still taking Ohio State, but I think it's going to be closer than everybody thinks. Don't be surprised if it's like a 30-27 game or something like that. I don't see them shutting out Wisconsin like they did the first time. I see Paul Chryst is a little smarter. He'll come with a different bag of tricks. Bobbit, what say you?
Uh, I'm going to go Ohio State, but I agree with you 100%. If, you know, if Wisconsin wins this game, that's going to be big.
Yeah, they go to the Rose Bowl. They don't go to the playoffs. They go to the Rose Bowl. They may knock Ohio State out of the playoffs if they beat Ohio State. Now, let's get to the rankings so I can talk about my scenarios. I've already given you one, but go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to do the top 12 because the 12th one is really interesting for a lot of people.
It's not interesting to me. They should have dropped. But go ahead.
All right. Number 12, Alabama.
I can agree with that. They deserve it.
Yeah. Number 11, Auburn.
I can agree with that. They beat Alabama. Go ahead.
Number 9, we have Florida.
What about number 10?
Oh, Penn State.
No, Rose Bowl is not a playoff game. Go ahead. Number 10 is Penn
Okay,
State. Okay.
yeah.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Florida.
Okay.
Number 8 is Wisconsin.
Yeah. And the only reason that they put Wisconsin ahead of Penn State is because they're in a championship game. If Wisconsin loses that game, they'll end up going to the Capital One Bowl. If they end up winning that game, they will go to the Rose Bowl. If Wisconsin loses, Penn State will go to the Rose Bowl because Ohio State will be in the playoff. Go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
All right. Number 7 is Baylor.
I think they honestly should have dropped out of the top 10. No, they won. Never mind. Go ahead.
All right.
My bad.
Number 6 is Oklahoma.
I agree.
Number 5 is Utah.
Number 5 is Utah. Okay. Wendy!
Number 4 is Georgia.
Number 4 is Georgia. Number 3
Number
is
3 is
Clemson.
Clemson.
Number 2.
LSU.
Who?
LSU.
Number 2 is
Yeah.
Number 2 is LSU. That means number 1 is Ohio State. All right, so here's my scenarios. Like I said, if LSU loses, Oklahoma or LSU better hope that both Oklahoma and Utah lose. If LSU loses, Oklahoma wins. Utah loses, Oklahoma's in the playoffs. Georgia will jump up to number 2. Ohio State will stay, or no, they'll probably jump up. They'll probably jump Clemson to number 2, Georgia to number 3, and then so on and so forth. Or they might jump Georgia over Clemson, which I think is bullshit in its situation anyway. If Ohio State loses, they're out. I don't care. They lost to a team that they beat handily. They lost. They should be out. They should be out. And I don't see Oklahoma or Utah losing. So one of them two teams will get in if they win. As long as everybody above them loses. Or somebody above them loses. Now, if Georgia loses, they're out. But, who's number 8 or number 7? Baylor? If Baylor can beat Oklahoma, they make the playoffs. I think they could jump Georgia. Wisconsin would then be catapulted into number 5. if they can beat Ohio State. Ohio State would then end up somehow being number 4. That's how I see it. I know it seems confusing, but that's how those are a couple of scenarios. Georgia, if they lose, they're out. The only way I can see Georgia staying in is if everybody below them loses. Everybody below them has to fucking lose in order for Georgia to even think about staying in. And I don't see that happening because Baylor's not going to lose to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's not going to lose to Baylor. One of them two teams is going to win. For Clemson, they ain't losing, so they're in the playoffs no matter what. That's just the way I see it. That's all I got. Bobbitt?
I agree with you 100%, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say is this is gonna be an interesting day, Saturday and Friday, because a lot of weird shit can happen, man.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Yeah. So the playoff teams in the playoff will be probably Ohio State, OSU, Clemson, and Georgia. No, I can't say that. I'm gonna say Utah. They'll be the first team in. So those would be your top 4. So yeah, that's all I got. That's what I'm predicting. Those are gonna be your playoff teams. That being said, are you ready to do the picks?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
Shut up. Week 14. The OCD woman.
Yes.
All right. So that being said, there's the standings as of this week. Let me see. Coop went 10-6. Bobbitt went 10-6. JP went 10-6. I thought I was ahead of you a game.
I changed the Houston thing at last minute, or else it would have been
fucking cheater.
Sorry.
No, fuck you, cocksucker. Heather finished at 9-7. Sarah finished at 9-7. Gina finished at 10-6. Trek finished at 8-8. Of course, she finished in last. Cody went 10-6. Rayshawn went 10-6, and Dan Rex and Ryan went 9-7. That being said, here's the chart. Gina and Coop somehow. How in the fuck are you 4 ahead of me? I was 3 behind you.
You go through it and you do the math then.
Well, last week I was only 3 behind you.
Like I said, you do the math.
Well, 10 plus whatever it was last week.
Last week you were 109.
What was Coop?
113.
Okay, so it was 4. I must have been looking at something else. So I apologize. I'm gonna fucking throw you. I'm just kidding. I'm not.
You're done.
Sebby. Hell.
Clap me in the face. She is done.
Oh shit.
Ooh.
Kid thinks she can fucking just beat people. Anyway. So getting to this week's picks, everybody went dead silent because Mom lost her shit. First game of the week, Thursday game. Hey. There it is. That Cowboys at the Bears. It's in Chicago.
Cowboys.
Oh boy.
I do not like that offense by Chicago at all. I've always hated them this year. Just something about Chicago's offense. They're really slow, but from what I saw from Dallas, they got to win. They have to.
Okay. I'm with him. Robert? I'm going
I'm
Cowboys.
going Dallas.
Heather?
I went Cowboys. I mean, Bears defense and their offense is not trustworthy.
All right. You want me to move on? Oh, there goes Cody. Cowboys, Bears. You want me to move? Hey, games. Panthers at the Falcons.
Falcons.
Going with the Falcons too.
Yeah, same.
Heather?
I went Falcons.
Okay. Yeah, I think Panthers are lost. They lost their way. Especially if they're going to have
They've been lost, JP. They've been lost.
especially if they have North Turner take over, which I think that's who's going to take over. I don't see that being a good thing.
I think they need to rebuild for the next few years.
It won't take good defense. They just got to build.
Yeah.
They got to build their offense. They can build around McCaffrey. He's still young. But the next game, the Colts at the Buccaneers.
I'm going Bucks.
Heather?
I actually went with the Colts on this one.
Who?
I'm going with the Bucks.
I'm going with the Colts. I don't like the Colts, but I'm not sold on the Buccaneers.
I guarantee right now they're going to throw a few interceptions to the Colts defense their way. So I look to see that. But if I think the Bucs are going to put up some points. So.
All right, maybe. We'll see. Next game. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez.
Dolphins.
I don't know. Oh, no. Do I go with the... Oh, get back to me. I'll go last.
I went Dolphins.
Shit. Not enough time.
Bobby, you went Dolphins?
I'm gonna, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Yes.
Only because I want to see JP go with the Jets. I'm thinking
The Stadium Classic.
That's a very good point. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with the Jets.
All right. Hopefully you'll be the answers to what the Jets have been looking for.
I'm not gonna pick them every week. I promise you that. The 49ers at the Saints.
I'm going Saints.
I'm going to Saints as well.
Same.
Heather?
I went Saints. I need to figure something out for that fucking rack. Okay, right now, they're only just hearing you say this game.
Oh, I don't.
Phil, while you're waiting on the rest of them, Phil, ring in on the other two games.
What two
actually,
games?
3 games I picked.
What?
What
two games?
After the Cowboys.
Okay, that's better. After the Cowboys, the Panthers at the Falcons, and the Colts at the Buccaneers.
Pointless games.
I'm going to say this right now. If this game was in San Francisco, I would have picked 49ers.
I'll sing here.
So don't think that I'm picking the Saints just because I think they're better. No, they're playing at home. But don't be surprised if the Saints win. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm?
Or the 49ers win. I'm sorry. In fact, I would love if the 49ers fucking won.
Ronnie, that would be hilarious.
I don't think we're getting that game anyway. I'll be watching the Packer game anyway, so no. Did you good?
I'm good. I'm waiting on Ray to get back to me on those games that he missed.
Okay. The Lions at the Vikings.
Vikings.
I'm going with the Vikings as well.
Same. Vikings.
Heather?
Vikings.
You want me to keep going, or I can talk about it.
I would prefer somebody did.
Okay.
Behind us. By a
I
lot.
can't help it. I don't know what you want me to do. I can shut off the Wendy.
I have to put it to low latency so I know because that's the lag in half.
Okay. Um, the Vikings. It's the Lions. They're the 31st best team in the NFL. That means they're the second worst,
Yeah.
which is come a long shot because what did we say not that long ago? We said the Dolphins were the worst team, and they've won like 3 games since then.
Hmm.
So,
But I think Matthew Stafford is still hurt or something like that.
he's out for the year. They ain't gonna let him. He's done. The Broncos at the Texans. Depends on which Broncos team shows up because they did look pretty good this past weekend. But I'm going with the Texans.
Same. Texans.
No, I'm going Texans.
You should be worried about Tom Brady. Fucking old as fuck. I'd be worried about it too. And that is no disrespect for what the guy has done is amazing, but that's what happens when you have an old guy playing quarterback for you. Your offense looks mediocre at best. But I'm going Texans.
Texans.
A tough game. This is probably one of those games that is, well, yeah, it is game of the week for me. I think that would be Ravens at the Bills. So the Ravens have had some tough games here the last few weeks. I'm going with the Ravens, even though it's in Buffalo. Um, Lamar Jackson and Baltimore has shown that they can overcome anything, and they did this past weekend. So I'm thinking that they will be able to overcome this. It'll be close. It'll probably be like a 20-17 game. 2 really good defenses, 2 up and coming offenses, I think, and that's the questions that arise. Is Lamar Jackson really that good? Not yet. He's getting there. He's got to grow from what he did last week, though, because he looked mediocre last week. His legs didn't look mediocre. His passing did. So I'm going with the Ravens. Bobbit?
I'm going Ravens.
Cool.
I am also going with the Ravens.
Heather?
Of course, I want the Ravens. Are you kidding?
Yeah, we
It's gonna be a fun game though.
it is, and we probably won't get it. I would probably like to watch that game. Defensive struggle, but it is what it is. Game of the week again. Bengals at the Browns. Go with the Bengals. Just kidding. I'm going with the Browns. Don't be surprised if the Bengals
Bengals
win.
win.
I'm going with Browns.
Yeah, Browns.
Heather.
I went with the Browns. I had to go back to that game to pick it, but it's just one of those things. Oh God.
So the next game is the Redskins at Green Bay.
Oh, jeez. I feel this should be a good target practice for you.
Hey, Green Bay had me worried on Sunday. They were playing like shit. They weren't playing very good. I'm gonna go with Green Bay. It'll probably be like this last week, where they'll start out slow, and then for some reason they'll fucking wake up. For their first half of the season, the offense couldn't do nothing wrong in the first quarter or first half, and now it's flip flopped. They can't do anything in the first half, and now they're all about the second half. So I wish they would play one complete game this year. I would be happy. That's why I just don't see Green Bay's not quite there yet as being one of those elite teams. But I'm going to go with the Packers here. Probably like 30-13. It'll be another one of those games. Bobbit?
I'm going Packers.
Coop?
Sam, going with Pack.
Better. They're hanging up on you.
Yeah.
How was the Packers?
The Packers? All right. I think everybody's got it.
Yep.
So let's see. This is the Jaguars.
Which team is going to play shittier?
Which Chargers team is going to show up? They got the two key defensive people back that I talked about in Derwin James and Adrian Phillips.
Yep.
Baltimore is getting back another safety, Brendan Tradwick, this week too, which will help shore up their defense because he's a big. He can play corner and he's big, solid. He's like Jimmy Smith style of cornerback. So yeah, I know he's back, but it didn't help him this week. But I think it will this week. I think the Chargers will win this game. Bobbit?
Yo, motherfucker, I gotta go with the Chargers, motherfucker. Yeah.
Oop. Yes, I am. Oop.
Yep, Chargers.
Heather?
I went with the Chargers.
Okay. Next game. Rematch of Super Bowl 44. Steelers with the Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Steelers. Cardinals are getting better, but they're not as good as the Cardinals are getting better, but they're not as good as the Steelers. Steelers have pretty good defense. I see Steelers winning.
Yeah.
Oop. Steelers?
Yeah, I'm going Steelers. I think they need this win because they're in the playoffs now, so this should be a win for them.
Bobbit?
I'm going Steelers, motherfucker. Steelers.
He's a Steelers fan now. Ow. Jesus.
Motherfucker, don't want to hurt his toe, motherfucker. Shut up,
I went
motherfucker.
with the Cardinals.
You went with the Cardinals?
Hmm?
Heather went with the Cardinals, and that's why she is where she is in the standings, because she picks the Cardinals.
What, tied with you?
You're not tied with me. Oh. No! You're not tied with me. You're one behind me. Fuck out of here with that shit.
Oh, that's pretty
Or
cool.
don't have me worried like that. Don't. We're not leaving. I hit the wrong button because I said thanks for watching. Let me see. You got all the picks?
I get it.
Okay. The next game, the Titans at the Raiders. This will be one of those games. This is one of those tweener games where teams show up. I'm actually gonna put Cleveland.
Jeez, this one's gonna. Oh man, I think the Titans. Both teams need this win. Jesus, I'm gonna go with Titans. Derrick Henry's been like really good, so I think he's gonna put up a couple touchdowns. Oh, he wasn't.
I went with the Raiders.
Go with the Raiders, motherfucker.
The Raiders.
You go with the Raiders. The Chiefs at New England.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going with New England. And the reason being is the Chiefs defense is okay. And they're going to be playing angry as fuck. Usually I'm responding not to.
Oh, excuse me. That's not a choice. You know what? It's gonna be. I think You know what? I'm gonna go with Kansas City.
I think I glitch up to him in one fucking week.
I went with Chiefs.
Yo, man, I'm gonna go with that Kansas City barbecue, motherfucker. Those Chiefs are gonna roll in there and cook them Patriots like barbecue, motherfucker. Yeah.
I just don't know what the fuck to say after that.
I need to be careful.
The next game, the Seahawks at the Rams.
Ooh.
Going with the Rams. Well, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I just the Rams for some reason have not shown up offensively. Defensively, they're probably there, but fucking Aaron Donald can't do it all. Jalen Ramsey can't do it all. They're doing the best that they can, but their offense, fucking Mike, is that his name? Mike McVay, the head coach, Sean McVay.
Sean McVay.
Why in the fuck does he game plan?
Wendy.
He tries being so cute with his fucking game planning. Like he'll go. Well, we're gonna go Todd Gurley first drive, and then we're gonna go Malcolm Brown 2 drives, and then we're gonna go. He tries being too cute with his running backs. Put your best players out there. When you're a struggling team, you put your best fucking players out there all the time. You substitute them when they are tired, and then you go from there. You don't fucking cutesy this and cutesy that. It don't fucking work in the NFL. Because if Todd Gurley's not in that game, they are not that much better.
No, they're not.
Without him in the game, they're terrible. Get him in the game. Get him involved. Why do you think Todd Gurley's numbers are down this year? Because he's not in there as much. Because McVay is being too fucking cute with his game planning. Stop with the fucking cutesy shit. It don't work. Everybody's tried it. It's time to fucking smash mouth football with Los Angeles. They have one of the best running backs in the league, and they use him so improperly, it's not even funny. And what I mean by improperly is they don't fucking use him the way they don't use him. They take him out in crucial situations. He's one of the best running backs in the league, and you take him out in situations like this. Why? Oh, because it fits my game plan. Get the fuck out of here. You shouldn't be a fucking head coach then. You're being too cute. That's all I got to say. Ooh.
Going with the Seahawks.
I'm gonna go Seahawks.
You go with the Seahawks? No more DJ Skinny Penis. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Did you go with?
Seahawks.
You went with the Seahawks? Okay. And the game. Oh, Monday night game. Maybe this is the game of the week. Will the Eagles beat the Giants? Will the Eagles get back on track? Because they aren't that far behind Dallas.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. They have to win this.
They have to. I totally agree. The Eagles should win this handily. Just saying. Bobbit?
I'm going Eagles.
Okay. Heather?
I went with the Eagles as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's the Eagles need to show up and do their thing. Oh my god. So
Trying to climb, and I'm trying to get this done fast so I can go catch them. IFG.
all right. Well, that being said, anybody else got anything they'd like to add, or
I have a guest here, so I got to get going. But thank you so much for hosting the show as always.
no problem, man. Have a good night.
Sir, guys.
Yep, see ya. Bobbit, you got anything? Bobbit.
I do not.
Okay, Heather.
I already
you got-
said no.
Oh, I didn't hear you because you cut out. Heather, you got anything you'd like to say?
Okay.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. I had to fight through the gout. I hope you enjoyed the show. We kind of did do the picks for the college conference championship games. Enjoy the weekend. The conference championship games are probably the big thing this weekend. Maybe the Ravens and the Bills game might be a game that you might want to watch. The 49ers and Saints game is going to be a good game. I probably won't get that game, but that's fine because I'll be watching the Packer game anyway. And I didn't watch much football this past weekend because I was not feeling the greatest. But so that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Bobbit, even that alter ego that he has. Thanks for being here. Heather, as always, you do hard work. It's much appreciated. Everybody on the show, and I consider the guys in the chat part of the show. So I've enjoyed myself. I've had fun. Root for your teams hard. If they don't win, don't be upset. They still had a really good season, depending on who you cheer for. So yeah, enjoy it. And that's all I got. And everybody have a great night. As Wendy is telling you her picks for the games this week. So everybody have a great night. You gonna say goodbye to everybody? Say bye. Say bye. It's right here. You point right here. Say bye. Say bye.